We're back again. So I'm reacting to a video from the podcast called Whatever. It's a bit like the Fresh and Fit podcast and that, where they have like a special guest, usually a man, and a panel full of gyal. Obviously, Fresh and Fit is the best podcast that's out there right now, and you get me in it. But they talk about the same similar stuff and that, but obviously Fresh and Fit podcast is just on the next level, and yeah, that's the coup de grace of all the podcasts them. So they're gonna go around the table and start asking these girls about whole phases and that. So yeah, let's get into it, fam.
Has anyone here had a hoe phase? Kiko.
So you know what a whole phase is, isn't it? When gyal sleep around, yeah? So just in case any lot didn't know, innit? Yeah, might have some old fogies over here that don't know what a whole phase is. A whole phase is when gyal them sleep around and that, yeah?
Anyone here had a hoe phase? Kiko. I wasn't making assumptions. I was just asking if you've had them.
I mean...
What? What's up there? What are you thinking about? You should either know if you've had a whole phase or not. So obviously, you've been dabbling, yeah? Obviously, you've had some sort of promiscuous phase, innit, yeah? Because there's no way, yeah, a gal or a man could ask me, Jay, have you ever gone down on a girl? And I'm thinking to myself, bro, you fucking dumb. You think I go down on a girl, bro? Are you mad? No, I don't need, what do I need to think about? My brother, imagine a man asking you, my brother, you're watching this right now. If a man asks you, oh, have you ever had a homo phase? You're going to say, blood, you fucking mad. What's there to think about? What's there to look at the sky for? What, you in a jail cell and you're looking at, are you sick and tired of being sick and tired? Like, what are you looking at the ceiling for? What's there to think about? That's how you know a girl's had a whole phase, yeah? It's a black and white question. There's no grey area. Yeah? They're not asking you, oh, what colour do you prefer more? Blue or green? Yeah, that's something to think about. Have you had a whole phase? It's either a yes or a no. So if she's taking time to answer that question, then it's obviously a rascal. Yes, blood.
I feel like most people have their hoe phase. It just depends on like...
They asked you. See what I'm saying, yeah? This is what girls do. And man, them people in general do. This is a psychology thing and that, yeah? When they feel guilty, they try to rope in other people, yeah? Oh, yeah, well, you know, other people, most people, blood, we didn't ask. Fuck everyone else. This is a direct personal question. What has that got to do with anyone else? So obviously, as you know, yeah, I mean, I ain't seen this. I saw that first little bit beforehand because what I do is I watch a clip for 10 seconds, scrub it into the middle, watch it for another 10 seconds, 20 seconds of that. Okay, bam, this is good enough to react to. I know she's going to say yeah, innit? I could be wrong, but more than likely, I'm right because I'm J. Ross Clark-wise.
If you mean hoe in retrospect.
Let me peel it back one sec.
Making assumptions. I was just asking if you've had them.
I mean, I feel like most people have their hoe phase. It just depends on like if you mean hoe in retrospect to my usual or like hoe as in like would for like the normal of everybody, because I would, if compared to normal terms, no, I wouldn't consider it a hoe phase, but like it was out of my norm. So
did you smoke before the...
So it's a yes. Why are we dragging out these answers? Yeah, blood, just answer the question. It's a straight yes, man. See, that's what people, when people feel guilty and shit like that, or they put on the spot and they feel a bit embarrassed, yeah, they try to, you know what I'm saying, did it justify? And bro, just say yes. You've had a whole phase. End of story. No one gives a fuck, yeah? People more care about people being lied to, yeah?
Show?
No, I'm like getting over a cold.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Do I sound raspy?
A little bit. I wasn't sure what that... No, totally fine.
I already took antibiotics though, so I'm good.
Okay. Really quick, just on your thing. So are you still bartending?
Yeah.
Okay. You said some of your bartending friends, they've had major hoe phases.
I wouldn't really call it a phase if it's a lifestyle.
Oh, there's a continuity.
Yeah, there's certain girls, it ain't a phase. This is just their life. You understand what I'm trying to say? Yeah, they're still in it now. Yeah, so a lot of girls do go through their little phase where they go and sleep around 8 man in a year or whatever. Certain girl 8 man in a month. Yeah? But there's certain girls, they're still in it. Yeah, they haven't, they never entered it. They never came out of it. They're in it. Yeah, it's just them. You understand what I'm trying to say? There's girls right now walking around with 100 bodies, blood. Yeah, make Jason Voorhees look like a pussy, blood.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mean just like my bartending friends. I mean,
all the other ones.
I mean, no, I just mean like people I've met since bartending.
Okay,
if that makes
sure.
sense.
So what, I guess, for the lifestyle, you know, how much of a body count are we talking here when we're talking, like, can you tell us like the highest, maybe the top 3 you've heard from some girls?
I couldn't tell you the top 3. For the highest I've ever heard from a girl, it was like 340 something.
What? 340 something?
Killed that many people? Is that what body count?
Partners.
Oh, he used to become a hitman. Literally turning man pack, blood. Fucking hell, blood. How can you have licked down 340 man? There's celebrities out here who ain't licked down 340 gal.
But,
oh man, because I'm like actually not a prude, and I'm from New York, and the highest I've ever heard is like 100, and I thought that was the craziest number.
Where are you hearing that from? I've heard way higher too.
Then what?
Then like 340. I've heard I'm just saying 100's the highest you've heard.
Yeah. And I thought that was crazy.
It is crazy, but I feel like I've heard.
But have you heard it from guys or girls? Because guys always inflate their number, and women always
I feel like true.
suppress their number.
You're right.
Because a guy will say, "Oh yeah, probably about 10,000." Genghis Khan didn't sleep with 10,000 women.
Yeah,
that's not
you're
real.
right.
340.
I don't think it was around 340. I think it was like 346 if I remember exactly.
What about some other high
Very
numbers?
specific.
I literally, ever since then I can't even remember anything else. That's all I can remember.
From your other friends?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
everything else after that.
And
unless
like
it's
100
small.
plus?
Yeah, there's a few of those for sure.
A few 100 plus. Okay.
Who has that much time? 340.
I know.
I think it's people because it's like if they're just a promiscuous person, they've probably been like this since they were like 16. Mm-hmm. Most of these people are like 30 that I'm saying.
Right.
That's 12 years. That's a lot of time to do some damage if you really think about it.
And they're all broke as well. There's no fucking... Obviously, gal them is different, innit? A girl don't need to work to get laid and that. But the man them that have high body counts and that. Any man that you meet that has a high body count of like, I don't know, like 100 and that, please believe, maybe now he could be rich. But during the time of him accumulating this high body count, when he was in the thick of things, I guarantee he was a broke youth. There's no way. The two are mutually exclusive. You cannot be running around town chasing all these gal and chasing the money at the same time. Me personally, I always say chase the money and that, because at the end of the day, getting a high body count from gal, knocking down, licking down bare gal, turning gal pack, all that's doing is for you is a self-esteem boost, blood. Yeah, it's not. There's no currency. You can't do anything with it. If you don't believe me, okay, go to your local high street lender, yeah, for a mortgage and that. Make them reject you because you don't have enough funds or you don't earn enough money, and tell them, nah, it's cool because I got a lay count of 100 gal in it. It does nothing for you. It's just a self-esteem boost, blood. That's it, blood. So the man them that have them high girls don't need to do nothing. A girl could watch this right now, yeah, and go to a local gym and find the guy to smash her within 1 hour, no problem. Man them cannot do that unless you're fucking some sort of celebrity and that. So them, they can have a high body count and still make something of themselves. Man them, you cannot have a high body count and make nothing of yourself whilst you're still doing it. I've heard man say it before. Man like fucking like AMS and other people and that, and they were saying that when they was broke and they were low value, they was mashing up the place. And then when they started becoming high value, when they got on the right path and they became focused and that, bro, their body count got down to 4 gal a year, blood. You can't do both of them unless you're a celebrity or some high status man who it comes to you. If you're running around chasing gal, forget it, blood. Yeah, it's expensive. Going out on all these dates, running around here and there. You get me? It costs money to go out on dates, even if you keep the dates cheap and that. It adds up. You going on 3 dates 3 dates on Saturday, 3 dates on Sunday, two on Friday night, bruv, it's expensive, blood. And literally, that's what you need to do. If you're licking down, a certain man licking down 50 gal a year, blood, for you to lick down 50 gal a year, you're going to be really seriously needed to go on like 2-3 dates every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night. So it's a numbers game, isn't it?
That is.
Especially if you've never been in a long-term relationship, so you have time to just keep going at it.
Yep.
That is
Right.
time to collect some cards.
Because I sometimes think back in I've had very brief single days, and I think, oh man, I was an atheist, I was a total derelict, and I thought, oh wow, that was really crazy. But then you think, well, what if people just had that period of time times 10,
Right.
and which a lot of people do.
Right.
Wow.
So, hoe phase.
I mean, what do you consider a hoe phase? Like, what's your definition of a hoe
Well,
phase?
what's your sense of it?
I would say going out, getting hammered a lot, and screwing a lot of dudes.
Seems like a fair definition.
Kind of the same thing. Like, I would consider what I had at one point as a hoe phase, but I don't think the average person would consider that a full-blown hoe phase. But, like, to each their own, I guess.
She's trying to downplay it. Yeah, she is trying to make herself not feel so guilty. You know, like them people there at the barbecue who have had too many plates of food. When you go to a barbecue, the food is free. There is no rule to say you cannot have 5 or 6 plates of food. But you know, there's some people, 1 or 2 plates of food, that's good enough for the average person there. But you know, there's some people take the fucking piss, yeah, and they'll go out for 4 or 5 plates of food. There's certain people, I've seen it before, people, they're eating too much food and that, and when they get up to go and get another plate of food, when it's their 4th time going up and that, they say, does anyone else want anything? They're doing that to downplay it. They're doing that because they deep down feel guilty that they're being such a fucking rascal pig, blood. So she's just trying to downplay it. Oh, what the average person wouldn't consider a full-blown whole phase and that. Bruv, you've had a whole phase, yeah? See, that's the thing. Women want to act like they're equal to men and that, but when you ask the gal them about their whole phase and that, you get me? They start stalling and that, yeah? They don't want to be upfront and, you understand what I'm trying to say? Yeah, man them, yeah? You could have a table full of 5 man and 5 gal. The man them, if you ask everyone, what's your body count and that? The man them would want to hope to say, yeah, they have a high body count and that. Whereas the girls, they'll be embarrassed about having a high body count. So the man them, if a man has a high body count, that's something to be celebrated. And if a girl has a high body count, that's nothing to be celebrated. That's embarrassing. Similarly, if the same people them are around the table, if the man them have a low body count, that's something to be embarrassed about in the male community. And if a girl has a low body count, that's something to be celebrated in the female community. And man and gal will look at gal that have a low body count as a good thing. No one in their right mind will look at a girl that has a high body count and think, yeah, this is good, fam. My brother watching this right now, would you rather date a girl that's only slept with 2 guys or 20 guys? The exact same girl. You had the exact same girl, but you could pick the version that had 2 bodies or 20 bodies. Which one are you going to pick? The girl with 2 bodies, blood. And similarly with a man there. A girl, you see a guy, what version would you rather pick? The guy that's only slept with 2 girls or 20 girls? Would you rather sleep with a guy that's slept with 20 girls and that? Because he's going to be more experienced. Because he's good with gal.
Yes,
Okay. Sam, what about you?
I didn't really have a hoe phase, but I had a player phase where I just like knocked out a whole friend group and like killed all their... I was like going through it and
A player phase, aka a whole phase. What you see, they're trying to change the definition. I had a player phase. So basically what you're trying to say is, oh, I wasn't the one that was getting ran through. I was running through the man them. I did not have a whole phase. I had a player phase. Blood, that is the same fucking thing. If someone said to you, oh, she's a player, that means that she runs through a lot of men. If a guy is a player, he's considered to be a guy that runs through a lot of girl, yeah? So if a girl is a player, wouldn't she not be considered to be a girl who runs through a lot of men? It's the same way. You can't change the definition depending on the fucking gender. She had a whole phase, blood. Your whole blood.
I like played a whole friend group on accident.
What's the distinction between a hoe phase and a player phase?
Because I didn't like do
Exactly. I ain't seen this part, Exactly. He's asking her to distinguish between the two because he knows it's the fucking same. So he's asking her to distinguish between the two, to see if she actually recognizes whether or not they're the same. They are the fucking same, blood. Let me peel that back one sec. Hold on.
What's the distinction between a hoe phase and a player phase?
Because I didn't like do anything with them. I just talked to them and texted them and played the field, and then like one by one, like made them like me.
Knocked them over like dominoes.
Just for fun. So it's just for ego.
No, it wasn't for ego. I actually like had crushes on these people, and then like I like realized like I think I picked the wrong one. I actually like that one more, and then it only was 3 of them, but the whole friend group did end up liking me. So
Indecisiveness.
yeah, it was purely indecisive.
When I was in
I ended
college,
up dating one of them for 2 years, so I really wasn't trying to like be a player. I just was indecisive.
All right, if she'd ever slept with none of them, then yeah. I'm a player. Imagine a guy says to you, oh, I'm a player, but I'm a virgin. I'm a player. I played about 20 girls. I know these friendship girls groups or whatever in it, yeah. I played every girl on my estate, but I'm still a virgin. That is not the fucking definition of a player. A player is someone that run true, fam, yeah? So I don't know, she's getting the definitions and that mixed up and that. If you're a player, that means that you run through gal. Yeah, you cannot be a player if you're just keeping it verbal, yeah?
I called that a suite complete when I was in college. If a girl was every single guy in the suite. That's suite complete. Yeah.
Tatum, what about you?
No, I haven't had a hoe phase.
No hoe phase?
Maybe not yet. Maybe in the
it's
future.
in the works?
Maybe, yeah.
You're going to have to lower your standards for that.
Well, maybe they will
perhaps.
lower.
Or you'll just have a string of skater boy.
And clapping because someone gave a fucking straight and direct answer. It was a straight and direct question, so it just needs a straight and direct answer. Not, what the fuck, blood?
Just like really hot
dudes.
Yeah.
I hear a train coming.
At first, I was thinking your high standards were a bad thing because it would be very hard to meet a guy. But maybe that's a great thing because you've avoided the hoe phase because you have very high standards, even though they're oddly specific. Okay, that's good.
Actually, kind of on that topic. Well, I'll let the table finish. Have you ever had a hoe phase?
No, it takes a lot for me to, I guess, like someone. So I don't think I know.
Okay.
No.
Michael, have you ever had a hoe phase?
A lady doesn't tell, Brian.
Okay.
Well, I sort of alluded to it. You know, I was a derelict atheist.
Went to Yale.
I went to Yale, and Yale's a pretty.
Party
Yale's
school.
a weird campus, man. Yale is known for like weird secret society rituals and getting naked. That's basically. I mean, Yale. They would do all this crazy stuff. I think back on it now. They would have sex week every 2 years. They would bring in stars to give lectures.
Good times.
And it's all these. I was kind of wondering.
There were porn stars back in your day?
You know, actually, back in the 19th century, it was 1878. It was the first porn star ever.
Oh,
And-
awesome.
Yeah, old
Love to learn
Abraham.
the
It was
history.
he wasn't very beautiful.
On the first camera?
Yeah, it was where where
Let's
the
get
light
that
bulb
shot, zoom in.
explodes. Yeah. I wondered though, when I got to Yale, I thought, why are all of these people so promiscuous? Like, why is everyone? You wouldn't necessarily expect that. And I realized, you think about the people who you might have known in high school who went to Yale were probably fairly nerdy, fairly studious, maybe didn't go out that much, probably didn't go to a ton of parties, you know. And so they were just these pent-up balls of lust and gluttony and drunkenness, and then they just explode. And it's,
Well, they say when like you have really strict parenting as a high schooler, where you're not allowed to go out a lot. Once you hit college and you have no rules, they kind of go off the walls and like the partying, the drinking, and all that.
Yeah, I had roommates like that. I went to NYU, and my roommates, man, my dad was like, "Oh, you have really nice roommates. They must have had great parents."
Wow. By the way, I'm getting reports that we have almost 6,000 live viewers in the chat. This is a record for whatever. So the chat is on fire. I had to boost, unfortunately, the time between chat messages. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We're about to get into some of our more spicy questions here. One question on your high standards. So is there just like an absurd, ridiculous deal breaker you have, like that in terms of your high standards? Like if a dude he's got like weird knees or some shit. Just some like random, totally unimportant thing that's a deal breaker for you.
Schlatter disease, yeah.
Okay, honestly, like this might sound really shallow, but a lot of the high standards like comes from the looks. Like the looks, people's looks are the first thing I look at, and then like past that, it's like personality and like whatever else. So if it had to do something with their looks that like stood out, is that what you mean?
Yeah, like maybe they have two different colored socks or something like that, or
Weird nipples.
weird nips.
I've seen that and I'm like, no.
Weird nipples.
Weird nipples.
And you're like, no.
Yeah.
That's like a deal breaker for you.
I feel like for guys it's much easier because guys they can be very attractive and not your like stereotypical attractive, but you know
I
they
agree with
can
you on
Yeah,
that.
I do too.
Get away
That's
with
so
a
true.
lot.
Sometimes
Yeah.
you just are attracted to someone and you don't know why.
Yeah,
but
but
you're
you're just
attracted
like-
to them, and everyone else is like, "What?"
And you're like, but
I
they
just
have
like
it.
them.
Yeah.
You say, I find this guy so attractive. He's got a great job. He's, really got great family and drives a fast car, but his nipples are just unfortunately too weird. So there it goes. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Out with you.
all right. So it's basically done now. So yeah, I just wanted to react to that video. I thought it was gonna be funny still. How can you ask a gal, have you ever had a whole phase before? And she's blood. It's a simple yes or no, fam. Did you kill the guy or not? Let me think about it, blood. Anyway, man, that's it for today, man. Stay wise. Done, though.